Father Coram said you might have something to make me feel better.
Haha, just the thing, in fact. Swabbing the deck.
I was hoping it was more like some medicine.
That's the best medicine there is. Nothing gets your sea legs under you faster than a little hard work.
Oh, boy.
Head to the rear deck. You have to go up the ladder over the engine room. You'll find a mop back there.
Sounds a bit fishy to me.
And while you're busy with that, you might ask some of the others if they need any help. There's never a shortage of tasks to be done on board a ship.
Didn't Jerry say the mop was on the rear deck?
This isn't so bad.
Certainly is a far cry from the luxury of Mrs. Coulter's flat.
I'd swab 1,000 decks with my tongue before I'd go back to that awful place.
Ow! My eyes!
You're not supposed to stare into the sun, Pan.
You know, Lyra, even though no Egyptian would dare turn you in, there are plenty of folks out there who'd gladly take the oblation board's reward money.
You don't need to tell me twice. I've had enough of being kidnapped for one lifetime.
The best way for you to go unnoticed in the north is for you to pass as Egyptian child. Most folks don't give us a second glance.
So, should I borrow some clothes, or...
Being Egyptian ain't all about the way you dress. Now, I notice you've been picking up our way of speech on your own, but you're gonna have to think on your feet if anyone talks to you. I've heard you're a fair hand at fooling people already, though.
Well, Ma Costa did say I was deceptive.
She paid you quite a compliment then. Come on, let's see you in action. Pretend I'm a landloper inquiring into your business.
Oh, look at that. The Magisterium won't recognise me if I'm with you guys, right? They'll think I'm Egyptian.
Not if you keep up like last time. Let's try again. Greet me like Egyptian would.
That's never Alphonse, is it? Good to see you, old son.
Well done, young lady. If I didn't know better, I'd have thought you were one of Ryan Van Dien's children.
Let's see. What do we have here? So, do you think I could pass for Egyptian now?
Not quite yet. We Egyptians are sailors, and there's a very important part of being a sailor. Swearing. Now, let's see how you do.
You seaweed face. I'll puzzle you yet.
Seaweed face? Oh, come on now, Lyra, you're not even trying. What would you say if the ship had run aground?
You squid heads. We're on the blasted rocks now because of you squabs.
Well, I suppose if that's your best, it'll have to do.
Do you feel any better?
One of these might come in handy. You know, Alphonse, turns out I have Egyptian blood in me after all.
That's so. Which family do you come from?
My grandmother was cousin to the head of the Hartman family.
Your gran must have known some of my parents' friends. Good family, that. How did you end up in Oxford, then?
My grandmother moved there after her husband died, and after what happened to my parents, I was placed in the charge of Jordan College.
Stands to reason. Hard to keep Egyptian in one place too long. So, what are you doing back on the water?
I've always loved the water, since I was a little girl. So as soon as I got my first chance, I stowed away on a ship. And here I am.
Oh, colour me impressed, little one. I know better, and I'd still swear you was one of us. The Magisterium will never guess you used to be a little scamp from Oxford.
Do you think we'll get to see any witches?
Depends where we end up going, but I think we'd be hard-pressed not to.
Have you ever met a witch?
No, and I'd like to keep it that way. Their ways ain't the same as ours, so they might help you one minute and kill you the next.
If we asked the witches, would they help us?
Hard to say. The witches involve themselves in what affairs suit them, and they ain't about to let any man decide what those are.
So witches and, regular people don't get along?
Oh, they get on just fine at times, but the witches decide when that is. They see us like foolish children, so they don't see the point in explaining things to us most times. Did you know Father Coram was once married to a witch? Well, not exactly married, but about as close as a man and a witch can be.
Really?
He died young, caught of some sickness. Father Coram ain't never really been the same.
What happened to the witch?
She left, like any witch'll do. It's hard for them to watch us grow old, being that they live so long.
How did you learn so much about witches?
Stories, mostly. Us Egyptians are spread out all over the world, so when we meet up with old friends, someone's always found out a thing or two. You've got a bit of the Egyptian spirit in you, Lyra. We can all see it.